You're saying that like it's a bad thing. Honestly, it sounds like heaven. That's what a 23-year-old told her mom after her mom said she'd never speak to her again. And wait, her mom's response. She didn't hang up. She just took her off the car insurance. But here's the thing, this didn't come out of nowhere. This fight was years in the making. So here's the backstory. This girl, she's 23 now, but growing up. Her mom treated her completely different from her siblings. Like completely different. She's the second oldest of four, and her mom was just always stricter with her. Harsher. If she brought home anything less than an A, grounded. I'm serious. Even 1B on an assignment meant trouble. Meanwhile, her siblings never had that rule. Never. And on top of that, her mom constantly commented on her weight, called her the fat kid, even though she was thin. You heard that right. She was thin, and her mom still called her the fat kid. And she never said those things to her siblings, just her. At first, she'd defend herself. You know, normal reaction. But then she figured out that her mom actually liked getting a reaction out of her, so she stopped. And when she stopped defending herself, her mom escalated, like got physical escalated. Then on her 18th birthday, still in high school, her mom kicked her out. But honestly, she was already staying with a friend most of the time just to get away. So it's not like she was blindsided. She'd been trying to escape for a while. Now as an adult, she barely speaks to her mom. At family events, maybe a few words, that's it. And honestly, can you blame her? So fast forward to recently. She's at her sister's place, and her sister has their mom on speakerphone. She's in the background talking to her brother, and he asks her, just casually, who she thinks is nicer, mom or dad. And without even thinking, she says, dad. Now, she admits her dad wasn't great either. He wasn't around much and he could be harsh. But compared to her mom, yeah, he's nicer. And she actually talked to him more, not a ton, but more. Well, her mom overheard, asked what she said, so she repeated it. Dad. And that's when her mom snapped, said she'd never speak to her again. And here's where it gets wild, the daughter's response. You're saying that like it's a bad thing. Honestly, it sounds like heaven. Just let that sink in. Her own daughter told her that never speaking again sounds like heaven. That's not a small thing. Her mom didn't hang up on her directly. She ended the call on the sister, who was the one actually talking to her. But still, the damage was done. Later, her sister texts her that their mom took her off the car insurance. But here's the thing, she never asked to be on it. Her mom added her without telling her because it lowered her own insurance rate. She just said one day, hey, I put you on my plan. She didn't argue, but now she sees it for what it was, just another way to control her. And this isn't the first time. When she was younger, her mom would put her phone on her plan and then shut it off whenever she got mad. Same playbook. After removing her from the insurance, her mom told her sister, since she thinks her dad is the better parent, let him put her on his insurance. Even though she never said better parent, she just said nicer. And then, her mom said she hoped her car got impounded and that she could turn it off through OnStar. Her car is fully paid off, so that's probably not even possible. But the fact that she said it, ridiculous. She didn't need her mom's insurance anyway. Before being added, she was paying for her own. After being removed, she just went back to hers. No big deal. But her sister said she was too harsh and should apologize because mom has done so much for you. She asked, like what? And her sister said, she put a roof over your head and gave you food and clothes. And her response, that's literally the bare minimum of parenting. Now her mom is going around to grandparents and aunts saying she was disrespectful and needs to apologize. From her perspective, she just answered her brother's question honestly. And honestly, after hearing all this, the weight comments, the stricter rules, the physical escalation, getting kicked out at 18, the insurance manipulation, the phone shutdowns. Can you really blame her for what she said? Okay, so let's get into the exact moment everything exploded. She's at her sister's place, right? Just hanging out. And her sister has their mom on speakerphone. Like the mom is on the line, talking to the sister, and the daughter, our op, is in the background, just chatting with her brother. And here's the thing, her brother asks her, totally casually, who do you think is nicer, mom or dad? And she doesn't even hesitate. She just says, dad. Now, she's not saying her dad was perfect. He wasn't around much, and yeah, he could be harsh. But compared to her mom, he's nicer. That's all she said. Nicer, not better parent, not good dad, just nicer. But her mom overhears through the speakerphone and immediately snaps. What did you say? So she repeats it. Dad. And that's when her mom drops the bomb. I'll never speak to you again. And here's the weird part. Most people would be hurt, right? Or scared, or at least a little shaken. Not her, she just says. You're saying that like it's a bad thing. Honestly, it sounds like heaven. Let that land for a second. She told her own mom that never speaking again sounds like heaven. That's not a small thing to say. That's years of frustration just coming out. And her mom, she didn't even hang up on her. She ended the call on the sister, the one actually talking to her, which is just such a weird flex, honestly. So later, her sister texts her, and this is where it gets even weirder. Her sister says, hey, mom took you off her car insurance. But wait, she never asked to be on it in the first place. Her mom just added her one day, without asking, without telling her. Just, hey, I put you on my plan. And why? Because it lowered her mom's own insurance rate. That's it. It wasn't about helping her. It was about saving her mom money. So now, after the fight, her mom removes her and then tells the sister, since she thinks her dad is the better parent, let him put her on his insurance. Even though she never said better parent, she said nicer. There's a difference. And here's the weirdest part. Her mom also told her sister that she hoped her car got impounded and that she could turn it off through OnStar. Like, what? Her car is fully paid off. It's not connected to her mom's anything, so that's not even possible. But the fact that her mom even said it, that's just wild. She didn't need her mom's insurance anyway. Before being added, she was paying for her own. After being removed, she just went back to hers. No stress, no financial hit, nothing. But it's not really about the insurance, is it? It's about control, because her mom has done stuff like this before. When she was younger, her mom would put her phone on her plan, again without asking, and then shut it off whenever she got mad. Same exact pattern, weaponize something that was supposed to be helpful. So this time, same playbook, remove the insurance, make a threat about the car, try to make her feel like she needs something from her mom, except she doesn't. She never did, and here's the thing that really gets me. Her sister is telling her she should apologize because mom has done so much for you. She asks, like what? And her sister says, she put a roof over your head and gave you food and clothes. I mean, come on, that's literally the bare minimum. That's what parents are legally required to do. It's not a favor, it's not generosity, it's the baseline. And let's not forget, her mom kicked her out at 18 while she was still in high school. So even that bare minimum, she didn't get it for as long as she should have. Now her mom is running around to grandparents and aunts saying she was disrespectful and needs to apologize. But from her perspective, she just answered her brother's question. Honestly, and honestly, after everything, the weight comments, the stricter rules, the physical escalation, getting kicked out, the insurance manipulation, the phone shutdowns, and now hoping her car gets impounded. Sounds like heaven might actually be an understatement. So here's where it gets really frustrating. Her sister keeps saying she should apologize because, and I quote, mom has done so much for you. And when she asks what exactly her sister says, she put a roof over your head and gave you food and clothes. I mean, come on, really? That's the argument. Because here's the thing, that's not so much. That's literally the bare minimum. That's what parents are supposed to do. It's not a favor. It's not generosity. It's the legal and moral baseline of having a child. You don't get a medal for feeding the kid you chose to bring into the world. And honestly, even that bare minimum was shaky. Remember, her mom kicked her out at 18 while she was still in high school, so she didn't even get that full baseline. But let's talk about what's actually missing from her sister's argument, because parenting isn't just keeping a kid alive. That's what you do for a houseplant. Real parenting. It's teaching your kids skills, like how to handle money, how to cook, how to do laundry, basic life stuff. Her mom didn't do that. It's teaching them right from wrong, not through punishment, but through example. Her mom's example. Control, manipulation, and conditional love. It's teaching them how to make decisions, how to think for themselves, how to stand up for what's right. Her mom punished her for having opinions. It's teaching them that they have rights and responsibilities, that they matter as people. Her mom called her the fat kid, commented on her weight, for no reason. It's teaching them self-worth, helping them believe they're valuable just for existing. Her mom made her feel like she had to earn love through perfect grades and silence, and it's teaching them to regulate their emotions so they don't get controlled by them. Her mom, she couldn't regulate her own emotions. She escalated to physical fights. She lashed out over a casual comment, but here's the biggest one, the most important one, the one her mom never understood. Love is unconditional. Not, I'll love you if you get straight as. Not, I'll love you if you don't talk back. Not, I'll love you if you let me control your insurance and your phone. Real love doesn't come with strings attached. Real love doesn't say, I'll never speak to you again, and expect you to beg for forgiveness. And here's the sad part. When you grow up with that conditional love, you end up in crappy relationships as an adult. Because you think love is supposed to hurt. You think love is supposed to be earned. You think love is supposed to be manipulative. That's what her mom taught her, not with words, with years of behavior. So no, her sister is wrong. Putting a roof over someone's head and giving them food and clothes, that's not the bare minimum of parenting. That's part of the bare minimum. The other part, everything else, the emotional stuff, the unconditional stuff, the stuff that actually makes a kid feel safe and loved. Her mom didn't do that. She did the opposite. So should she apologize? I mean, for what? For answering a question honestly, for saying her dad was nicer, for not being grateful that her mom fed her while also calling her fat and kicking her out. Yeah, I don't think so either. So Reddit, of course, had a lot to say. And honestly, the community was not holding back. One user, Ambitious Border 9006, pointed out something pretty obvious. They said, objectively, your mom is the a-hole, but your sister is approaching a-hole status with her comment. And here's why. You didn't ask to be born. It is your parents' job to feed, clothe, and house you. And hey, reminder, your mom kicked you out at 18, while you were still in high school. So her suggestion that a roof over your head merits an apology, that's way off the mark. Then there was Cute Wolf 9311, who went even further. They said, all you did was state your honest opinion about your mother, who is an a-hole. Don't take their opinion for anything. You don't need the approval of a family that is in the pocket of an abuser. And they finished with, you should probably cut off contact from all of them. Harsh, maybe, but after everything we've heard, not really. And Aladdin Trees brought up something really important. They asked, did your siblings ever notice the way she treated you compared to them? Did she badmouth you to them? Were they just afraid to end up being treated like you were? And then they gave this advice. Suggest to your sister and other siblings that it's time to set aside childlike thinking. Embrace adult thinking. Use their observation and sense of fairness to make up their minds. Don't just hold onto the way things were when you were kids. Powerful stuff, right? The community agreed across the board. Op is not the a-hole. The mom is. And Op should try to talk to her sister to get her to take off those rose-colored glasses. But here's the thing. Op never replied to any of the comments. Not one. And at first I wondered why. But then I read the update. And honestly, it all made sense, because Op didn't just read the comments and move on. She actually listened, and she started to see her whole childhood differently. She wrote, "Thank you all for your kind words. Honestly, reading your responses really helped me step back and validate my own perspective." And then she named it. She said, "Growing up with my mom has always been difficult. She's narcissistic, controlling, and manipulative." Those aren't small words. Those are clinical terms, and she used them because they fit. She realized that her mom's whole family had mostly tolerated her behavior, which made Op feel like she was constantly in the wrong, always backed into a corner, always the difficult one. But this situation, it helped her step out of that mindset. She said, "I need to see my experiences from my own perspective and recognize that my feelings and reactions are valid." And then she did something really brave. She talked to her grandmother, and her grandmother confirmed everything. The mom has always treated everyone poorly. It's not just Op. Most family members tolerate her behavior just to avoid conflict. even Op's younger siblings. But Op has always been outspoken about the treatment, which made her seem difficult to everyone else. But in reality, she's just been honest. So here's what she decided to do. First, she's going low contact with her brother. He's been influenced by their mom and started calling and texting Op with insults about things she supposedly did wrong. Things that only make sense from the mom's perspective. That's not a healthy relationship. That's a flying monkey situation. Second, she's also going low contact with her sister. Why? Because she realized her sister shares information about her life with their mom, even after Op asked her not to. That's a boundary violation, and she needs to protect her privacy. And third, her mom, she's moving to full no contact. She was already pretty much no contact anyway, but now she's formalizing it. That means avoiding family functions where her mom is present, limiting any other interactions, all to protect her mental health and break the cycle of manipulation she's experienced her whole life. She ended the update with another thank you, and honestly, I think she's making all the right decisions, because here's what some people say. They say, but family is family. I've heard it a million times. You forgive them because they're blood. You tolerate the toxicity because you share DNA. But here's the thing. When family is toxic, when they manipulate you, control you, kick you out, call you names, and then demand apologies for their own bad behavior, you really don't need them in your life. Family isn't about who shares your last name. It's about who shows up for you, who treats you with respect, who loves you unconditionally, not because you earned it, but because you exist. Op's mom never understood that. And honestly, at this point, it's not Op's job to teach her. So here's wishing Op all the best. Breaking cycles is hard. Going no contact with a parent is painful, even when they've hurt you. But sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to walk away. And that's exactly what she's doing. Okay, so that was heavy. Let's shift gears to a completely different kind of family drama. And honestly, this one's kind of wild in its own way. So there's this 15-year-old girl, and her 24-year-old sister just moved back home with her husband and their 2 kids, a 5-year-old daughter and a baby boy under 1. Here's where it gets complicated. The sister convinced the parents, the 15-year-old's parents, to make her share her bedroom with her 5-year-old niece, because the sister and her husband would already be sharing a bedroom with their baby, so they needed space. And the sister also wanted them to switch bedrooms completely, because the 15-year-old's room used to be the sister's old room, and it's a lot larger than the spare room, which used to be the 15-year-old's old room. But the parents at least said no to that part. So instead, they replaced her bed with bunk beds so it wouldn't be too crowded. She sleeps on the top bunk, and her niece, she's supposed to sleep on the bottom. But here's the thing. The niece started climbing up into the top bunk in the middle of the night because she's scared. She gets scared a lot at night, but apparently more here. Normally, she'd go sleep with her parents, but she's too scared to go down the hallway to her parents' room because she has to pass these big dark windows and the staircase, which looks like a dark hole. They tried nightlights, but that just made it worse. So the niece climbs up, and the 15-year-old, she sleeps deeply so she doesn't always notice. But sometimes she wakes up after the niece crawls in, and it's not great. It gets really hot, and the kid is kind of gross, sticky with sweat. She just doesn't like it. So she comes up with a solution. She realizes she doesn't actually need the ladder to get to the top bunk. She can climb up without it. So she gets a screwdriver and removes the ladder entirely. Just takes it off the bunk beds. And guess what? The niece can't get up anymore, but here's the kicker. The niece hadn't been sleeping well since the ladder disappeared. And she's 5, right? So she's tired all the time at school. The school got involved. The parents got in trouble. And now the sister is furious. She says the 15-year-old is being petty and should just suck it up and let her daughter sleep with her if she's scared. But the 15-year-old doesn't want to. She just doesn't want to share her bed. That's it. So she asks Reddit, am I the a-hole for removing the ladder? And here's the thing that makes this whole situation even more interesting. The parents are completely fine with her removing the ladder. She doesn't need it to climb up anyway. And without it, the niece can't sneak into her bed. She's actually okay with sharing the room now that the ladder is gone because that was the real problem. She just doesn't like someone else in her bed. She wakes up hot and uncomfortable. She doesn't want to be disturbed in the middle of the night. She likes her own space and her own things. People asked, why doesn't she just move into the smaller spare room? Well, if she did that, she'd have to get rid of a ton of her stuff or pack it away somewhere, and she doesn't even know for how long. Her parents don't want that either. They'd rather she keep her room, partly because they don't want her sister's family getting too comfortable in the bigger bedroom. They don't want this arrangement to turn into something permanent. Other suggestions. Basement doesn't exist. Attic isn't a real room. It's way too short for sleeping. The bunk beds wouldn't fit in any other rooms. And get this, the sister talked about trying a light through the window, but that would be a pain to set up and still wouldn't help. So the ladder is off. The niece can't climb up, and the 15-year-old just wants to sleep in peace. But is that so wrong? If you made it this far, you clearly love these wild family stories. So do me a quick favor, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more. I read the craziest Reddit posts so you don't have to. Appreciate you sticking around. Seriously. See you in the next one.